Teresa Randall discovers a talent for hot phone sex in Spike Lee's Girl 6. And Ben Stiller leads an all-star cast in the black comedy Flirting with Disaster.
Be patient. I'm not going to be able to do this.
Well, I suggest you try. It isn't like you burnt the toast, Mia. You killed your husband.
Sharon Stone and Isabelle Adjani are murderers fearfully awaiting discovery of the corpse in Diabolique, one of 5 new films we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, including a screwball comedy starring Ben Stiller, Alan Alda, and Mary Tyler Moore, and a close-up look at the phone sex industry by Spike Lee. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is the American remake of Diabolique, and here is a rare, intelligent remake bringing a new sensibility to a classic French film. The new point of view is a 90s feminist one, as women gang up on a bestial man. The setting is a private boys' school run by a tyrannical headmaster played by Chaz Palminteri. But as tough as he is on the boys, he's even rougher on his wife, a fragile beauty played by Isabelle Adjani.
I didn't have to get married to have lousy sex.
No, I did.
In a revenge plot, his wife and a hard-as-nails teacher at the school, played by Sharon Stone, conspire to kill him. And this performance by Stone should solidify her reputation as the screen's leading femme fatale.
What do your saints say?
I'm brooding. I'm not brave.
Lost your faith, huh? I never really had any to begin with, I guess. Never believed in any of it. God, the Virgin Mary, that life begins at 40. And the people are all just basically good inside.
Eventually, a third woman enters the story, a detective played by the wonderful actress Kathy Bates.
So, none of his friends know where he might be?
We haven't asked them. You know, it's kind of awkward. Hey, my husband's disappeared. Have you seen him? You know.
Her husband. It wouldn't be awkward for me. If it's okay with you, Mrs. Baran, maybe I could take a look at his address book.
And Kathy Bates turns up the pressure a notch when she's alone with Sharon Stone.
What about her? Did she ever want to kill her husband?
Why would she want to do that?
Maybe she found out you were sleeping with him.
Oh, that's so clever. What'd you do, ask one of the faculty or any of the students? Oh, I know. You read it in the brochure, right?
So she knew?
Of course she knew. Ask her. Come on, she's not a murderer. She's an ex-nun.
Now, this Diabolique is not the landmark of bold original filmmaking like the French classic upon which it is based. At the same time, for an American thriller, I think it does represent a watershed in legitimate male bashing. You thought Angela Bassett had cause to torch her husband's car in Waiting to Exhale? Well, you should see Diabolique.
Well, I don't think anybody deserves to be murdered, but then again, maybe that's the way it works out. I disagree with you, Gene. I think this is a pretty bad film,
Really?
and really bad in comparison with the 1955 classic.
That's a better film.
Why remake the film if, A, you don't appreciate the ending, and B, you don't appreciate the character of the police detective? Here, instead of that wonderful, perfect, elegant ending in the original that everybody was asked not to reveal,
Right.
you go right back to the same thing they did in their remake of The Vanishing, where you have people being knocked over the head with shovels and rakes, and one ending after another, and a completely phony baloney reconciliation at the end between two characters, one of whom really shouldn't be alive at that point. It's not the one you're thinking of. And then the police detective. In the original film, that character inspired Columbo, the Peter Falk television series.
Right.
Here, the police detective essentially has nothing to do, isn't made into as interesting a character.
I think that she has a function, and I tried to say what it was without giving out too much away, which is that she is in sync with the feminist sensibility of this picture. And I think,
well, if you're referring to the scene I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
she makes that decision without having the information she would need in order to make it. She doesn't know what they really did or what they really didn't do.
she has enough reason to make that judgment,
I
in my
don't think
opinion.
so.
But beyond that, you didn't like any of the performances?
Oh, now that's where I make an exception. I liked the performances. I thought Sharon Stone was very
sensational.
good. Isabelle Adjani, this is kind of amazing. She plays the child bride. She's playing about 20 years younger than she is, and it's totally convincing.
And
I don't know how
again,
she does it. And
Kathy-
Chaz Palminteri is very good. I love
Kathy
the
Bates.
performances in this movie. I thought the screenplay stunk.
I think there's a lot in this picture to recommend it.
Okay, next movie, and our next film is called It's My Party. It stars Eric Roberts in the story of a man who discovers that an AIDS-related brain disease will rob him of his identity and self-consciousness in just a few days. So he decides to throw a party to say farewell to his family and friends before taking his own life.
Ah, good mom.
You look great. Can't believe you're sick.
Oh, no. You should see my headshot. Now you can get me a Tylenol commercial.
So, who can I call?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Right, Tim?
We'll probably need a bouncer.
Robert's guest list includes his mother, played by Lee Grant, and his sister, played by Marlee Matlin. The one unexpected guest is his former lover, who broke up with him after he discovered he had AIDS. The lover is played by Gregory Harrison.
What a surprise. Charlene told me. You look great. Well, live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse.
Saying goodbye means coming to terms with his estranged father, played by George Siegel,
I'm sorry. I wasn't a good father to you.
as well as comforting his distraught mother.
Nico, please don't leave me. I can't make it without you.
You're gonna have to.
It's My Party is sometimes very funny, but mostly it's gentle and sad. The Eric Roberts performance is one of his best, I think, very restrained, especially in the way he finds the right note. It's a party, but nobody's partying. The issue of voluntary suicide is much in the news right now, but It's My Party doesn't debate it so much as simply assume that it's better to die while you still know who you are.
I think it's a good film, too, and I thought there was a sense of discovery. It was almost like it was shot by Randall Kleiser, the director, and it's surprising to see his credit. This is a guy who made Blue Lagoon. To see him follow this like a documentary. We're tracking through the homes that we see in this picture, and I felt like I was a guest. I was walking through the party, and, for example, he didn't have, there's a big conflict between Eric Roberts and his lover. Rather than have that payoff in one big scene, it keeps developing, like it just might, if you got years of hostility. And so you do a little bit here. And then 10 minutes later in the film, they meet up again as they walk through this party. I thought that was very well orchestrated. And I'm glad you praised Eric Roberts, because here's an actor who I thought was a big talent, was star 80 since then, and I don't know, that must be a decade. He hasn't gotten a good film in that time period.
Well,
and
oftentimes Eric Roberts has played kind of bizarre or over-the-top or eccentric or all wound up kinds of characters. Here, it's a straight dramatic role, and he's very good. I felt like you did, as if I were attending a memorial service in a way, or as if I were attending this event.
Absolutely.
The movie doesn't...
That's the director.
It's not in your face with a lot of plot.
That's the director.
It's about being able to absorb the meaning of this passage.
Good job by Randall Kleiser. Coming up next, Flirting with Disaster, an offbeat comedy with an all-star cast, including Mary Tyler Moore, Alan Alda, and some 30-something stars, too.
No matter where we are in our lives, especially if we're adopted, we can't help but feel that there's something missing.
This woman strikes me as being very dangerous.
You know, FedEx and the Dream Team have a lot in common. They're fast, we're fast. They've got moves, we've got a few moves of our own. We both spend a lot of time in the air. They get called for traveling, we travel when we're called. They're masters at gravity-defying, slam and jam and foul line dunk. Well, okay, so they got us there. FedEx, proud sponsor of the USA Basketball Dream Team. Neat, huh?
Hey, wait for me.
Smells good.
Pass it down.
It's an indisputable fact that kids love the taste of Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Not hard at all.
And ever since we added more chicken, there's been even more to love.
Hurry up, I'm hungry.
Which means there's even more to go around.
Hey, I never knew there was chicken in this soup.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look. So I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Come on, honey. Come on. That's my big boy. Good. There you go. Now, come on. Come on. Mommy's gonna put you in your high chair and fix you some Friars, cookies, and cream. Wow!
It's more than ice cream. It's dryers.
Some people look down on drivers like we're low class. Not me. I always wanted to learn how to drive a big rig.
You never told me that.
Well, I might not have voiced it until now, but it's always been a fantasy of mine. You want a lesson?
Ben Stiller plays a Generation Xer crisscrossing America in search of his real parents in Flirting with Disaster, a very funny and wholly original American comedy packed with some very big laughs and even better, some characters you haven't seen anywhere before. The film opens with Stiller and his wife, Patricia Arquette, having their sex life interrupted by meeting an adoption agency employee, Taya Leone, who is going to help the adopted Stiller find his real birth parents.
That's all right. Nancy understands how important this whole thing is.
Great. The baby's gorgeous, by the way. It looks just like Mel.
Thanks. Really? You think so? Everybody always says he looks like me.
Well, what do I know? I'm just another 30-year-old woman desperate for a baby of her own.
Aside from the fact that Stiller is immediately attracted to Leone, the main reason he wants to find his real parents is that his adoptive parents, played by Mary Tyler Moore and George Siskel, are such neurotic jerks.
Nancy, did you get that support bra yet? Not yet. What are you waiting
Hey, I want to
for?
introduce you to somebody.
Please don't make such a big deal out of it.
It makes a real difference.
All right, could we not talk about this right now?
Yes, we're going to talk about this because she's not listening to me.
And so they hit the road and meet all sorts of oddballs, including Stiller's real parents, a couple of hippy-dippy free spirits played by Lily Tomlin and Alan Alda. Good casting, good performances.
Yeah, it's very rough.
Oh, yeah. It looks rough, but it's very smooth.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Smooth. Smoother than you would think, but still with it. This is wonderful, great stuff. I mean, and you guys make your living through the arts, huh?
Well, we try. Sometimes you have to supplement.
Yeah, you have to supplement with other things.
These are all.
And then there's the bisexual federal agent along for the ride, who just happens to be an old boyfriend of Stiller's wife. Suddenly we have two extramarital affairs going on.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Can we stop all this craziness, huh?
Yes. I wasn't even enjoying that.
It seems like you were enjoying it.
Well, the attention, maybe.
Very funny stuff. Flirting with Disaster was written and directed by David O. Russell, who achieved some fame with his first independent feature, Spanking the Monkey. Here's a rare case, however, of a young filmmaker going more mainstream and not having his fresh voice diluted. Flirting with Disaster is nervy in the way it constantly dares to put strange new characters in front of us, and it marks David O. Russell as a movie-making name to remember, a very funny picture.
A very funny film indeed. I loved this film, and I loved about it probably the same thing you did. I never knew where it was going next.
No.
As they
and who you were going to meet next.
Who you're going to meet next, because, of course, they wind up in all the wrong places with all the wrong people, and then the people they do meet, including Alan Alda and Lily Tomlin, so funny as those bizarro New Mexico recluses, and their son, played by Glenn Fitzgerald, and he is
wonderful character.
Really a classic character. The entire thing just builds and builds and builds and gets wackier and screwier, and it's very fun.
You get the feeling that when he was sitting at his typewriter, David O. Russell said, all right, and this is what more screenwriters should do. Sit there and think, now what can I do to delight people?
Yeah.
What new surprise can I give them? And maybe I'll have a coincidence happen, like the agent is an old boyfriend, but you know what? Coincidences happen in real life. We can accept that kind of stuff.
It's delightful. When we come back, Spike Lee enters the world of phone sex in Girl 6.
Hi, I'm Jake Jabs. At American Furniture Warehouse, we know furniture. We buy furniture. We sell furniture. We stock furniture. We finance furniture. We guarantee furniture. We deliver furniture. 7 days a week.
American Furniture Warehouse, your best dressed home like yours.
When you're ready for furniture, we're ready for you.
What is a family? A family is a group of people who look out for each other. A family provides warmth and support, a haven of safety where children can grow.
If you believe in family, you believe in Amnesty International, because Amnesty International brings to light crimes governments commit against families everywhere.
Crimes against the human family. In parts of the world, families are forced from their homes simply because of their race.
Fathers are disappeared. Mothers are beaten and raped by the very police who are supposed to protect them.
And men, women, and even children are executed because of their opinions, their religion, or ethnic origin.
You have the power. Keep the light on human rights. Join Amnesty International. Call 1-800-AMNESTY. 1-800-AMNESTY.
My name is Lovely. What's yours?
Joe Sabatnik.
Ooh, Joe. You have a really sexy voice.
Teresa Randall plays an out-of-work actress who gets a job as a phone sex worker in Girls 6, Spike Lee's new film. And in the course of her experience, a strange thing happens to her. She gets involved in the online fantasies and begins to enjoy the phone sex as much as her clients do. While Girls 6 is still new on the job, she discusses possible phone sex fantasies at a training session. Naomi Campbell plays another trainee.
This is Mistress Marlene. I heard you've been a naughty boy. Now pull down your pants and bend over my knees. You're going to get spanked.
Playing roles on the phone creates opportunities for the movie to parody many different kinds of roles, and Teresa Randall is seen as if she were on The Jeffersons, and as Foxy Brown, a character made famous by Pam Grier.
Phone Sex Hall of Fame?
As she gets into her job, only her next-door neighbor voices objections. He's played by Spike Lee himself.
So what does that have to do with your acting career? What happened to that?
I'm still an actress.
How are you acting?
What?
How are you acting? You're not on stage, you're not in front of the camera, you're on the phone. How are you acting talking on the phone?
Girls 6 is an ambitious film, but I'm afraid it's not a very well thought out one. It wants to say a lot of things about acting and sex and fantasies and imagination, but what it doesn't provide is a convincing idea of what Girls 6 is really thinking and really feeling. Spike Lee is trying, I think, to show how Girls 6's role-playing is connected somehow to all the roles that all of us play, and I admire him for using pop culture icons and fantasy sequences in an effort to explore that material, but the movie is sort of disorganized and it never really added up for me. You know, I felt Jennifer Jason Leigh's phone sex girl in Shortcuts, the Robert Altman film, had more just in her scenes than this film
This
had.
is Spike Lee's first bad film as far as I'm concerned. I was very disappointed. It's, to say the least, sort of disorganized. I couldn't figure out what he was really saying. He throws in a real-life episode of some real human tragedy with a girl in the housing projects meeting a tragedy.
Yeah, what was that about?
Well, you know what? I think he may be saying, hey, look, the world is distracted through this sexual preoccupation and all this phone talk, and here's something real going on in the world. But you know what? As I saw that, I was saying, you know, I'm more interested in this little girl story than I am in this phone sex stuff. Also, I think that the parodies and all that are fairly obvious and quite predictable and beneath him in a way. You know that an actress, we're way ahead of this picture because he shows us all of her frustrations for about 20 minutes, it seems like, before she takes the job. Now, come on, we already know what this movie is about.
We've already seen the scenes with a lecherous director and so forth.
Oh, that's bad
and another
stuff.
thing, this movie is allegedly told from the female point of view. I think it's really from a male point of view, and I'll tell you why. There's a scene in the movie where she goes to meet a client that she talked to on the phone, and she's going to go out with him on a date. I think that's what the clients would like the girls to do. I don't think that's very often what the girls do.
It's not good work. Coming up next, a French boy raised by his mother in the Amazon is brought to Paris by his father in Little Indian, Big City.
Weather advisory, there is a winter storm watch in effect for the entire area today. Seems like it's only going to get worse. So look, if you don't have to be out there, please get off the roads.
You know, FedEx and the Dream Team have a lot in common. They're fast, we're fast. They've got moves, we've got a few moves of our own. We both spend a lot of time in the air. They get called for traveling. We travel when we're called. They're masters at gravity-defying slam and jam and foul line dunk. Well, okay. So they got us there. FedEx, proud sponsor of the USA Basketball Dream Team. Neat, huh?
Our next film is a candidate for the year's worst. Any year's worst. It's called Little Indian Big City, and it's a badly dubbed French film, badly dubbed into English, about that old story, the wild child brought into civilization. The boy is found in the Amazon jungle after his father has gone there to get a divorce from his estranged wife. Typical of the film's stupidity, the boy's Indian name, Mimi Siku, translates to, get this, cat pee.
This in Homoview? Big arrow piercing sky, like on necklace Grandfather Muluku?
Of course, yeah. The Eiffel Tower, yeah. It's in my hometown.
And it big. You take me Eiffel Tower?
Well, yeah, sure. We'll go someday.
Once in Paris, cute little cat pee climbs the Eiffel Tower. The film would like to be a heart-tugging father and son story, but look at how lamely this scene plays.
Okay, and to visit a monument, you buy a ticket with money. And you can't kill birds, and you have to dress properly. It's hard to understand, but you have got to learn. Do you promise to learn?
Have I communicated to you just how junky this film is? I think it was the lousy dubbing job that offended me the most about Little Indian Big City. If the ad campaign for this picture is big enough, a lot of parents and their kids are going to be hoodwinked into paying to see a completely unprofessional movie. It is not professionally made.
No, it's not.
Should not be
It's
released.
a very, 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 very bad movie.
Yeah.
And when you say the dubbing offended you the most, I don't know, Gene. There's a lot of competition. There were a lot of other things
Well,
that
that's
offended me, too.
controllable, Roger. See, that's why it bothers me. In other words, all right, there are lots of
I
lousy...
know why they dubbed it, because I don't think anybody who likes this film is going to be able to read. I think it's basically for illiterates and people under the age of 5.
Okay.
And you know, all these French movies that have been remade recently,
Right.
they're going to remake this movie
good.
in a Hollywood version, and it's going to star Tim Allen. And I just have one statement to the people who are going to write the new movie, and that is, this is a real case of being assigned to turn a sow's ear into a silk purse. I hope they can do it.
Well, you know, we always say that they shouldn't remake classics. They should remake bad films. You found one. Coming up next, our video pick of the week, an Oscar-nominated biography of one of baseball's greatest players and his battle with racism.
Man, I could sure use some Tylenol for this headache.
Hey, I got this.
Ibuprofen? No, Bill, I can't. I got an ulcer, and that could aggravate it.
No kidding. My mom's got an ulcer.
My doctor said to be careful. Tylenol's a better choice for me, and it works great.
If you use ibuprofen and have an ulcer, Tylenol may be a better choice for you. Talk to your doctor.
Mom, it's Billy. How you doing? Listen, about your ulcer.
Imagine a video store where the hits are never out of stock, no late return fees, free delivery, and thousands of movies. Stop dreaming. Get DirecTV. Over 50 channels of movies, and I choose when I want to watch them. Hits, classics, new releases, beamed in digitally for great picture and sound. Imagine never hearing, "Please be kind, rewind." To turn your living room into a video store, call 1-800-DirecTV.
My big boy. Good. There you go. Now come on. Come on. Mommy's gonna put you in your high chair and fix you some Friars, cookies, and cream. Wow!
It's more than ice cream. It's dryers.
The Urban League Job Fair will be held Monday, April 8th at the Stouffer Renaissance Hotel from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The job fair has proven to be beneficial in identifying qualified minority candidates who seek work in a variety of fields. The Urban League of Metropolitan Denver is sponsoring this event to assist businesses in recruiting the best talent the community has to offer. For more information, call the Urban League at 303-388-5861.
The Century Plaza, offering the finest in luxury, service, and Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
And now it's time for our video pick of the week, and my choice this week is Hank Aaron, Chasing the Dream. Nominated this year for Best Documentary, it's about the lifelong professional struggle by Hank Aaron, first to make the major leagues, and then to smash Babe Ruth's magical lifetime home run mark of 714. Here's young Henry Aaron when he was first signed to the Boston Braves organization.
This is a happy day for the Boston Braves, son. Happy day for us.
Becoming a quiet, soft-spoken all-star didn't make life that much easier for Aaron, who received all manner of racist threats in the mail as he approached Babe Ruth's home run mark. As his daughter recalls, he even had an armed bodyguard in attendance during his stretch drive.
I was scared for him. I was scared because he was out there in the field and I didn't know what would happen to him, if anybody would try anything while his back was to the crowd.
One thing that Chasing the Dream makes very clear is that Aaron was simply exhausted by chasing Ruth's record.
I don't think it was joy or excitement I was feeling, more just relief, like I could finally come up for air.
Hank Aaron, Chasing the Dream is not one of the best documentaries I've seen, but its story is fascinating, and it's good enough to be my video pick of the week. You can also catch it on cable the night before the Oscars on Turner Broadcasting. And now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. A split vote on Diabolique, the American update of a classic French thriller. I thought Sharon Stone was excellent as a lethal male basher, but Roger didn't see the point of this remake. 2 thumbs up, however, for It's My Party, a surprisingly lifelike film about an AIDS victim throwing one last party for family and friends. Eric Roberts finally fulfills the promise he showed in Star 80. 2 thumbs up for the offbeat comedy Flirting with Disaster and its huge cast of stars. Director David O. Russell creates an exciting, wildly original script. 2 thumbs down for Spike Lee's aimless and often pointless musing on the meaning of phone sex, Girl 6. And finally, 2 thumbs down, way down, for the badly dubbed children's film Little Indian, Big City. So the 2 pictures we both agree on are
Flirting with Disaster and It's My Party.
And I think Diabolique has some superior performances in it, and do recommend it.
Where we disagree. Okay, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including Sergeant Bilko, starring Steve Martin as a master sergeant with larceny in his veins. And also A Family Thing with Robert Duvall discovering that James Earl Jones is the brother he never knew he had. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.